the iPhone 17 Pro, Max, and Air, everything we know about Apple's new phones. But before we get into that, Apple hasn't abandoned its previously rumored plans to release a less expensive Vision Pro, according to Bloomberg. Mark Gurman reports in the Power On newsletter this weekend that the company has two new models in development, one that's lighter and cheaper than the first-generation headset, and one that would tether to a Mac. While Apple had once considered the latter setup for AR glasses, it shifted the idea over to the Vision Pro so it can create an ultra-low latency system for streaming a user's Mac display or for connecting to high-end enterprise applications, according to Gurman. Apple's ultimate goal, though, is reportedly to create AR glasses that are practical and comfortable enough to be worn like regular glasses, and the next iterations of the Vision Pro are seen as steps toward getting there. Gurman reports that Apple CEO Tim Cook is hell-bent on creating an industry-leading product before Meta can. You can find the latest gadget news, reviews, price drops, and more at Engadget.com. Apple announces updates to its smartphone lineup every autumn, but the company often has a hard time keeping the details under wraps. Ahead of the official unveiling of the iPhone 17, we've already heard quite a few hints about what may be in store. Here's what we know and what we're expecting. When will the iPhone 17 series be announced? Most years, the flagship smartphones are introduced in September. It's a little early to have the specific dates. Some years, Apple only gives a week or two of lead time between sending invites and hosting the event, but years of past precedent show that sometime in September should be when the 17 models make their debut. What will the new iPhone 17 lineup include? Design leaks suggest that Apple is building an ultra-thin smartphone, likely to be named the iPhone 17 Air to match Apple's ultra-light laptop designation. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, often a solid source of advanced intel about Apple, reported in January that the iPhone 17 Air will be equipped with a basic A19 chip and will only have a single camera lens. It may also use Apple's new in-house modem, which was introduced in February on the iPhone 16e. More details about this development may leak ahead of September, but that's what we know for now. Each new roster includes a base model, but over the years, Apple shakes up the variety of phones it offers. Most likely, there will be an iPhone 17 and an iPhone 17 Pro. Apple has also committed to the size matters philosophy and has been building an iPhone Pro Max option with an even bigger screen and better battery life. The 17 roster will almost certainly have one as well. The iPhone 17 Air seems primed to take the place of a potential iPhone 17 Plus. Since the iPhone 16e was only just introduced in February at a surprisingly high price point, it seems unlikely that there will be a new addition to that lower end of the spectrum, the models that were previously called SE. At the very least, it sounds like the iPhone 17 Air won't take away the charging port and rely on wireless connectivity. Bloomberg said that while Apple had investigated making the iPhone 17 Air without a single port, the company, fortunately, changed its plans. He also says that the rumored phone will have a 6.6-inch screen and include the dynamic island and camera control button. Finally, the price is rumored at $900, likely more than the standard iPhone 17, but less than the Pro. What will iOS 19 be like? John Prosser at Front Page Tech dropped a video in January that points to how a redesigned camera app might point to more drastic changes to come for the operating system in the upcoming iPhone line. Earlier in March, Bloomberg also backed the assertion that an iOS overhaul is in the works. There hasn't been a notable overhaul of iOS for several generations, and it could be exciting to see Apple pushing the envelope on software again. Prosser published a follow-up video in April with a more in-depth look at what he claims is a more complete build of iOS 19. He said the 2025 software update will focus on a visual overhaul, but without any jarring usability changes that might push away the Apple faithful. The UI is set to borrow from Vision OS, adopting home screen icons with a corner radius of around 30, mostly round but not fully circular. Control centers, brightness, and volume sliders also show a more rounded appearance. The Front Page Tech creator showed mock-ups of a redesigned tab view within apps like Music with more fluid animations. In addition, he says the iOS 19 Messages app's search box lives at the bottom below chat threads in the leaked build. Finally, Prosser claims the camera app borrows from the Samsung Galaxy S4. Yes, the 2013 flagship from Apple's rival, a new mode that lets you simultaneously record with the front and rear cameras. He said this feature, which shows the front camera's content in a floating box atop the main ones, would be exclusive to the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. And while we don't have any formal leaks about this, it seems all but guaranteed that Apple is going to continue pushing its Apple Intelligence Suite. We're still waiting on some promised updates to Siri that are meant to take advantage of AI tools, so ideally, those will be fully finished and integrated by the time the 17 series arrives. The company typically shares more details about its upcoming plans for software during its Worldwide Developers Conference. WWDC 2025 will most likely be happening in early June, so expect to hear more about the operating system this summer. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Today's show featured journalism by Engadget contributors Anna Washenko and Will Shanklin and was produced by Spoken Layer. I'm Imran Sheikh, and as always, we'll talk more tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.